So good afternoon once more. We are returning to the discussion of the matter concerned with the Selous Game Reserve in United Republic of Tanzania. We had already some speakers' interventions, so now the floor is going to Spain. Please, you are welcome.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Ayer, cuando intervinimos, decíamos que apoyamos fervientemente el apoyo del desarrollo en África y de las consideraciones de las condiciones especiales y asimétricas que en algunos casos se presentan en la mayoría del continente. Por tanto, comprendemos bien las razones que está dando Angola y Tanzania, pero eso no es menos cierto que a la vez nosotros estamos de acuerdo con la intervención que ha tenido Noruega esta mañana, por decirlo de una manera sintética y no ocupar demasiado tiempo. Sabemos que el patrimonio puede y debe constituir un recurso para el desarrollo de las comunidades, pero el patrimonio no puede ser explotado en los términos en que en España decimos explotación, no solo el negocio, como quien explota una bomba, como quien agota ese patrimonio. Y tenemos que hacer un buen equilibrio entre los recursos que se necesitan para el desarrollo de las poblaciones y el mantenimiento y la protección del patrimonio. Por tanto, en ese sentido, nosotros anunciamos que plantearemos algunas enmiendas que van a intentar conseguir ese equilibrio, pero no podemos, bajo la excusa de que las poblaciones tienen que desarrollarse y los países necesitan avanzar, permitir que algunas compañías importantes en los planteamientos que hacen, en este caso para las cuestiones hidroeléctricas, no tengan en cuenta las tecnologías nuevas. Es verdad que la Convención es muy inflexible cuando se habla de explotaciones petroleras, de gas y en otras cuestiones que cuando se hizo la Convención ya se conocían, pero desde entonces ahora los avances técnicos y los avances de la ciencia en materia de nuevas tecnologías para la energía eléctrica especialmente han sido grandes y quizá tengamos que en algún momento tenerlo en cuenta a la hora de establecer unos nuevos parámetros para esta protección del patrimonio y para esta instalación de este tipo de grandes obras hidráulicas como es este caso. En cualquier caso, nosotros vamos a apoyar la resolución y planteamos que es necesario que lleguemos a un equilibrio de consenso y vamos a hacer un esfuerzo porque se llegue, sin dejar de lado que seguimos exigiendo una cosa que ya está en la Convención, la presentación de informes de impacto medioambiental en todas las obras que se hagan, y eso las grandes compañías y los estados externos al que se va a invertir deben saberlo de antemano. Por tanto, no podemos llegar a situaciones de cosas ya hechas para sobre eso decir que no se puede modificar. Vamos a ver si encontramos un equilibrio, pero desde luego apoyando también en la mayor parte de la declaración que ha hecho Noruega. Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much. Uganda, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think at this stage we are not ready as yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Then Brazil, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to express that the Brazilian delegation supports the amendments proposed by the distinguished delegation of Angola. And concerning the recent intervention by the delegation of Spain, I understand that his concerns are contained in the amendment proposed to Article 10. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Guatemala, please.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente, por otorgarnos la palabra. El Estado de Guatemala desea manifestar que apoya la propuesta de Hungría, Noruega y España para que se mantenga el texto original, sugiriendo revisar la redacción del párrafo 10, ya que consideramos que no es pertinente la mención específica de otros estados, ya que el mismo texto de la Convención recuerda a todos los estados parte y a las inversiones privadas no apoyar proyectos que puedan dañar sitios patrimonio mundial. Muchas gracias.
Still Uganda, Cuba, please.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente, por darnos la palabra. Nosotros, la delegación cubana, apoya la enmienda presentada por Angola y reitera que está de acuerdo con los comentarios de España. Y hacemos también énfasis con lo que realmente acaba de hablar la delegación de Guatemala con respecto a nombrar otros estados partes.
Thank you. Uganda, are you ready now?
Thank you very much, Chair. We are very brief and to say that we support the amendment. I thank you.
Australia, please.
Australia thanks Angola for their proposed amendments. Australia's concerns are contained in some further amendments to the amendments proposed by Angola, and our proposed changes are supported by Hungary and Norway.
Thank you very much. No other committee members, so I would like IUCN China. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chair.
Chair. Just to be
excuse me.
very simple, we wish to echo the sentiment expressed by Cuba and also Guatemala that without a specific mentioning of state parties not quite involved. Thank you.
Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We also would like to put our voice with the delegation of China is not to have the state parties, specific state parties mentioned in the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kyrgyzstan, please.
Thank you very much. Kyrgyzstan avails itself of the opportunity to thank Azerbaijan for hosting us. And as for the amendments suggested by Angola, we would like to ask the question why Angola doesn't like to have the paragraph, the last sentence in paragraph 5 stating that alternative options for power generation should be considered. And we also agree with other countries that specific state parties shouldn't be mentioned in the final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Chair. Zimbabwe would like to support amendments given by Angola. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tunis, please. Tunisia.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. La Tunisie souhaite venir en appui au projet d'amendement présenté par l'Angola, mais tout de même sur la question de l'utilisation de la désignation directe de l'État, je crois qu'il nous faut éviter, d'ailleurs en tenant compte bien de nos discussions de ce matin, et nous avons convenu d'aller dans cette direction, donc il faut mieux éviter de citer les États parties de la manière. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. No other committee members. Thank you. Now, IUCN, please. Your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. IUCN is, of course, ready to answer any specific questions you might have, but we would also like to provide a little summary of our considerations. First of all, IUCN wishes to highlight that it, of course, fully appreciates the legitimate energy needs of the state party and wishes to recall the role it has. which is to provide the committee with technical advice against the backdrop of the operational guidelines and past committee decisions, etc., rather than offering opinions on governmental decision-making. It is very useful to understand the development of the discussion on hydropower in this context. After initial enthusiasm from the 1930s to maybe the late 70s into the early 80s, the discussion has become increasingly nuanced. It is not disputed anymore, even by proponents of hydropower, that dams fundamentally alter rivers and associated ecosystems and socioeconomic systems. This is acknowledged by industry associations such as the International Hydropower Association, but also by important multi-stakeholder processes involving the governments, namely the World Commission on Dams, which has published its report, Dams and Development. The question is therefore not whether there are impacts. There are always benefits and costs, and the larger the projects, the larger the stakes at hand. The question is about the trade-offs. Are the trade-offs attractive and acceptable for governments, for societies in a given case? This in turn critically depends on adequate information in accordance with the scale and complexity of the proposed project under consideration. IUCN notes that there appears to be no adequate basis for informed decision-making at a time when preparatory works are underway. IUCN considers this problematic for any project of this scale and complexity, and particularly problematic when this is taking place in a World Heritage property, which is already on the list of World Heritage in danger, and where the committee is on record for considering the project under consideration to be incompatible with World Heritage status. The Selous is not just another property. The Selous Game Reserve stands out by its scale and its intactness globally, even by the very selective standards of the World Heritage Convention. The absence of adequate assessment confirmed in an independent assessment commissioned by the IUCN, which is publicly available on the IUCN website, is a reason for concern. It could result in significant impacts on the OUV of this extraordinarily important site, but proceeding with the project would also convey a highly problematic message in terms of the World Heritage Convention more broadly. IUCN is fully confident that it provided sound advice in line with its mandate and stands ready to further provide advice both to the state party and to the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So, Angola, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we say that we need to allow the third party, Tanzania, to give some insight on the implementation of this project on the ground. But we are insisting that a continuous constructive dialogue between the state party and the advisory body is essential so that we can improve this situation on the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, as there is no other intervention, no, in Hungary wants the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to repeat the question asked by the distinguished delegate of Kyrgyzstan about why the state party of Tanzania does not consider alternative ways of energy production. Thank you.
Thank you. Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Of course, we understand this is a very difficult topic, but at the same time, we should accept that the right of infrastructure development is a right for all states parties. But all state parties should use this opportunity from the sustainable use of the biodiversity, ecosystem services, and so on. We warmly welcome the efforts of state party about the preparation of documents, management plan, and hydropower plan. But at the same time, we should understand that state party should continue these efforts. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, we would like to support the amendments which provided by Angola and Spain. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I think that we have to summarize the draft, and I would like to give the floor to Rapporteur, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have indeed received amendments from Angola and supported by other states parties, and also from Spain. So I'll just wait for it to come onto the screen. Thank you. So the first amendment is suggested amendments to paragraph 3. Which is a relatively minor one. I can read the whole thing now if you like, or I can flag the whole. I might flag the whole series, and then we can maybe do it paragraph by paragraph. Also, paragraph 4, which is fixing a typing error and also changing the word credible to fair. In paragraph 5, I will read this one, expresses its utmost concern about reports confirmed by satellite image analysis that the site clearance of 91,400 hectares of vegetation within the future dam area has started, and strongly urges the state party not to undertake activities that will affect the property's OUV and will be difficult to reverse. The next proposed amendment is to paragraph 8, and that's to delete the end of that paragraph, which says, with a view to reviewing whether conditions for deleting the property from the World Heritage List are met. Paragraph 10, then, I think is the final proposed amendment, and this is the one that Spain has also proposed to amend. So that would read, referring to the preamble of the World Heritage Convention, which considers that deterioration or disappearance of any item of the cultural or natural heritage constitutes a harmful impoverishment of the heritage of all the nations of the world, and to Article 6.3 of the Convention, urges all states parties that support development projects related to World Heritage sites to observe best environmental practices, or, as Spain proposes, to include the environmental impact assessment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So this is the proposal of the amendments. May I have Angola again?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I say that some of the question was read from some committee member here, so that we can give the floor to Tanzania to clarify some issues before coming back to the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Australia, please.
Australia has forwarded some amendments to the rapporteur. Under the circumstances, I think we'll deal with them paragraph by paragraph on the way through.
Thank you. Tanzania. Are you ready to answer the questions? Should I give the floor to you?
Thank you, Chair. There was one question raised of asking why we are not considering alternatives in the power generation that we are undertaking. I would like to report that hydropower is part of a broad strategy for power generation that includes a range of other sources like wind, geothermal, and solar. Therefore, Tanzania power generation strategy takes into account consideration of its natural plans, its national plans, that is broad-based. It's not Chair, it's not dominated by one type of power generation. It's a repertoire of many other sources, and therefore hydropower is within the national, plans that should be also be considered. And it takes into consideration, Mr. Chair, the socio-economic and ecological conditions of the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the proposal is as following to start concerning the decision item by item. Is it like that? Article by article, yeah. So, please, Rapporteur.
We have no amendments for paragraph 1.
Approved. Second. Second, recalling decisions. There is no questions. Number 3. While noting the reported reduction of purchasing the property. Objection to this reduction? To this wording? Don't see any. So, 2012, not to undertake any development like that. Thank you. Number 4. Takes note the conclusion of the appendix. 1 minute. Provide a credible, instead of credible, the word fair. Australia, please.
Instead of the word fair, we'd like to propose best practice, please.
Any objections to this wording? So we can accept it not to provide, it does not provide a best practice assessment of the potential impact. I will see you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps clarification is useful what the background of this term credible is. I made reference to the independent review which IUCN commissioned and which, as noted, is publicly available. The conclusions, and that is also stated in the executive summary of the report, specifically note that there's an absence of a credible basis for informed decision-making. And that's why it was considered adequate to use this language. Thank you.
Thank you for this clarification. So we can approve the latest version with the best practice assessments. If there is no principal objections, we can move forward. Thank you. Number 5, please. That the site clearance and instead of forest vegetation within the future dam area. Australia, please.
So we'd like to propose that the 5 read, so accept the change of site clearance, but where it says vegetation, we'd like it to say vegetation including forests. And then we have some suggestions to the last part of the sentence, but do you want to consider our suggestion about including forests first? Or would you like us to go?
Please, you make all text which you propose.
Okay, so our text reads, vegetation including forests within the future dam area has started and strongly urges the state party to immediately halt all activities that will affect the property's OUV and will be difficult to reverse.
Thank you for the proposal. OUCN, please. ICN.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the question of definition, the globally most common forest definition is offered by the FAO at the UN level, and Tanzania has adopted that definition at the national level in December 2016 under the Clean Development Mechanism and REDD+. Under this definition, the area under consideration clearly qualifies as forest from a technical perspective, notwithstanding that there might be areas which may not qualify as forest. But overall, we are talking certainly about a forest vegetation, so there is no technical question about this. Thank you. I would ask, if permitted by the chair, that the World Heritage Center may wish to add to these comments. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take in consideration your clarification. Any other comments? Angola, Tanzania, your proposal? So we can accept the sentence like the last version proposed by Australia, to immediately halt all activities or not. I don't see any conflict in these words which will cause some misunderstanding. Can we approve it?
No.
No. Tanzania, please.
Thank you, Chair. We can live with it.
Thank you. So, item number 5. No need for further discussion, I consider. Thank you very much. Number 6 is without any change. Number 7 without any change. 8, proposal of Angola to take the wording with a view to relevant weather to condition for deleting. Australia, please.
We have some suggested change to number 6, please. Considers that the deforestation and other cumulative damage to such a large area.
Should I return again to the number 6?
Yes, please.
Honorable members of the committee, you don't mind the new amendment?
So the new amendment is consider that deforestation and
other cumulative damage.
Cumulative damage.
Don't see any objections. Okay, so we will not return again to the previous items, please, as soon as we approve it. Thank you. Number 6 and number 7. So we are coming again to number 8 with a view of rewiring whether the conditions for deleting. So I think that we can accept the wording proposed by Angola to delete this part of the sentence. By all means, we understand that the danger, and by all means, we know the measures which we are going to implement. But this is a very strict definition, which I think can be deleted. Don't you mind it? Thank you very much. 8 approved. 9 decides therefore not apply to a post monitoring mechanism to the property. 10 Angola's proposal. Australia, please.
So, in addition, we'd like it to say urges all state parties that support development projects related to World Heritage Sites to observe best environmental practices, including best practice environmental impact assessment.
So, It sounds like that now. Urge all states parties that support development projects related to World Heritage Sites to observe best environmental practices, including best practice environmental impact assessment. To include the environment impact assessment. What? No, we take it away.
And then the second
I see.
can come out, yes.
I see. Opinions, please. No objections? Any other proposals? Wording? Clarification? No needed. Spain, sorry.
Sí, queríamos saber por qué razón se está quitando nuestra enmienda cuando nos parece más determinante y clara. Lo que pide no ofrece duda, es incluir un estudio de impacto medioambiental. No hemos entendido bien las razones por las cuales se oponen.
The opinion is as following, that there is no conflict between the two phrases. This is included, Australian phrase including the same meaning which you did. Simply its wording slightly changed the sentence. Instead of to include, we're putting including the same best practice. So. Can we accept it like that? The meaning is the same. Spain, please.
Bueno, sí, no tenemos ninguna intención de alargar la discusión. Lo que pasa es que nos parecía más concluyente la nuestra. No hablamos solo de buenas prácticas, estamos hablando exactamente de un estudio de impacto ambiental y eso está perfectamente definido. No es cuestión de mejores o peores prácticas, es cuestión de que o hay un estudio o no lo hay. Y si lo hay, incluye buenas prácticas, porque si no hay buenas prácticas no hay estudio. Y por eso nos sometió un poco a confusión. Incluyen, está muy bien, lo de buenas prácticas medioambientales. Un estudio de impacto medioambiental, todo el mundo sabe lo que es y las exigencias que tiene. Y o es o no es. No es cuestión de que haya mejores o peores prácticas, porque no hay un estudio de impacto medioambiental sin buenas prácticas. Esta está la duda, no es que estamos en contra, pero teníamos una duda de por qué aparece lo de buenas prácticas, que nos podría parecer un tanto atenuante según alguna de las interpretaciones a las que a veces somos dados los países cuando queremos encontrar excusas para interpretar a la baja los textos.
Thank you. Hungary, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Hungary has the opinion that the two versions is almost the same. Only the difference is only in the wording. The only thing is, which we mentioned by the Australian delegation, is best practice, but it doesn't matter. It is about the same. So I would propose that including best practice environment impact assessments should taken, but after Australia mentioned also Spain, because in the proposal they have almost the same both sides, and then there's no need for further discussion. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So the new proposal in support of Spain's vision and wording, if Australia doesn't mind to remove the best practice words, it will be.
Australia doesn't mind.
Thank you very much for understanding and support. Thank you. So number 10 is now to World Heritage Site to observe best environmental practices, to include, no, projects related to the World Heritage Sites, to observe best environmental practices, to include the environmental...
No, to include.
Into.
No,
and to include the environmental impact assessment. I'm reading. So we can accept it like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Approved. Number 11. No changes. Number 11, thank you. Number 12, no comments, no changes. Number 13, thank you very much. 14, the same, thank you. And 15, also decides to retain Selous Game Reserve, United Republic of Tanzania, on the list of World Heritage Endangered. So, thank you very much. Approved. Now we are returning to the matter raised by Burkina Faso concerned with the Lake Turkana National Park in Kenya. Please, Burkina Faso, give us your vision. Why should we put it with discussion?
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. Je voudrais, avant mon propos, m'excuser pour notre absence momentanée ce matin. Concernant le dossier du lac Turkana, la demande d'ouverture des débats par l'État concerné se justifie par les difficultés que cet État rencontre à mettre en œuvre les dispositions de la décision en l'état. En l'occurrence, l'article 5 du projet de décision invite l'État à demander une mission d'observation qui couvre à la fois son territoire et celui d'un État tiers. Ce pourquoi l'État concerné rencontre des difficultés. Il y a par ailleurs la nécessité pour le Centre du patrimoine mondial de se mettre à jour sur les engagements pris par l'État concerné en relation avec un État frontalier concernant l'étude d'impact environnemental en cours. Voilà, Monsieur le Président, l'essentiel des raisons qui ont conduit à la demande ainsi formulée. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. As far as I know, there were no special amendments done to the draft decision until now. So how should we proceed? Should we leave this question to the later discussion and the draft decision will be provided with amendments to that draft decision will be provided, or should we leave the document as it is?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've received to this stage no amendments to this decision.
Thank you. Uganda, please.
Mr. Chair, I was going to agree with you on your first proposal, sir, that we defer until later discussion on this matter, sir.
Thank you. How long time should we wait for the amendments? Because we have to follow the agenda as planned. Please, Uganda.
24 hours should be sufficient.
Colleagues, members of the committee, you don't mind that we will leave this question for, because we didn't have any clarification. Whatever have been done doesn't reflect, we were not reflected in the amendments. So we need, originally we have to accept what we have, but paying tribute to the opinion of one of our colleagues, I'm just asking you. China.
Thank you, Chair. We are prepared to make very small amendments to the text, but if your decision is to postpone it a little later, we have no problem. But if there is a need to go through the text, then at that stage, we would like to propose a little amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have an alternative proposal. Maybe we will go through the list, and if there will be some positions which will be not clarified, we will approve them point by point, and then at the difficulties, we can leave it for the later time, just to pass it through. You don't mind? Please, Rapporteur, put it on the screen. No, we haven't. Number one, I hope, doesn't have any questions. Number two, the same. Number three, acknowledge the state part of Kenya's effort to implement the Uganda, please.
Chair, on number three, instead of regretting, we think this should be notes that the state party provided, not only limited, but there's an update that actually the state party provided, so it shouldn't be limited, unless if it is justified, especially in providing what information the state party should provide, then that's when it becomes limited. Chair, we feel also at the end, after decision, all that needs to be deleted. And the next, where there is to strengthen the protection, that also needs to be deleted because it's actually related to the eviction of communities. And these communities are outside the buffer zone. So you're not going to evict communities who are on their legitimate land. I think that also needs to be deleted, the Chair. I submit.
Yes. I'm really very sorry, but you are talking a little bit connected to the other file. This is not the matter. May Mrs. Rossler give us clarification?
I just wondered, dear delegate from Uganda, are you talking about Lake Turkana? I wondered, yes. Maybe you are talking about another decision. At the moment, we are at Lake Turkana National Park, Kenya. Are you talking about the Rift Valley?
Yes, Chair. Oh, sorry.
You see, that's my feeling that we may not talk about the same site. So could we just be very clear? At the moment, the chairperson looks at the decision of Lake Turkana National Parks, Kenya, and the understanding was that China had slight amendments to this. But I have the feeling that Uganda is talking about another site. Thank you.
Oh, yes, sorry. Chair, we're sorry. Let's... we apologize, Chair.
It's okay. It happens sometimes. So, Tanzania, please.
Thank you, Chair. On this site of Lake Turkana, Tanzania notes that Kenya finalized the Lake Turkana National Parks Management Plan that runs 2018-2028. The plan addresses the recommendations of 2012 and 2015 reactive missions. These include carrying out biodiversity survey to establish key species status, developing a baseline to monitor their recovery, consultations with the local pastoral communities in drawing up comprehensive grazing plans that effectively deal with illegal grazing and access to property, as well as developing corrective measures to address the problem of poaching. All these have been considered. Tanzania notes that a proposed strategic environmental assessment study has been agreed upon bilaterally and that a scoping study on the same will be in the initial step. Chairperson, Tanzania proposes that the reactive monitoring mission to inform the desired state of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of heritage in danger be undertaken be undertaken post the scoping study. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. May I ask China in which paragraph you think we must make some amendments?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we would like to come to paragraph 8, if we may.
Yeah.
The current wording urges again the state party. We would like to suggest doesn't really change the content of the whole thing, but the proposed amendment would be urges the state party of Ethiopia to complete an environmental impact assessment in relation to the Kuras development project, including a comprehensive assessment of potential downstream impacts on the OUV of the property. And then here, the original version says has been completed, and so deleted this has been completed and add to be reviewed by the World Heritage Center. It doesn't really change the nature of this paragraph. It's just a little change of wording. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Please.
Thank you. I would just briefly like to react to this point. As the committee will remember, the issue of the strategic environmental assessment has been pending for a long time. Already the mission in 2011 requested for this strategic environmental assessment. A strategic environmental assessment is essentially a decision-making tool to allow the state party, the authorities, to ensure that the right decisions are made in terms of planning development activities. The problem has been with this site that since 2011, all the development activities have been going forward. In 2011, the Kuras sugar development was not yet effective, was not yet being implemented, and also the Gibe Dam was not yet operational. The problem has been that through the delay of the strategic environmental assessment, the options always to still identify the appropriate mitigating measures always become more and more less possibilities. And the Kuras sugar development will be a major user of water from the river, and therefore will impact importantly the levels of Lake Turkana and the seasonal variation. That is why the committee last year decided to include this very same paragraph. This is a paragraph that was already in the decision last year and is just repeated here. Thank you.
Thank you for this clarification. Norway, please.
Thank you, Chair. Norway would like to retain the original draft. Thank you.
Thank you. Hungary, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In agreement with Norway, we also would like to keep the original text.
Australia.
Australia would also like to retain the original, please.
Any other opinion? Bahrain, please.
We would also like to support maintaining the draft decision as it is. Thank you.
So as far as I see, the draft proposed from the beginning is supported by some countries. So China, if you don't mind leaving it like that, so we will proceed. Please.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to propose that because it involves state parties, not members of the committee, but I think there are some sentiments expressed. I would propose that we could discuss with the member state parties, Norway, Hungary, Australia, Bahrain, to reach a agreement on the specific wording. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have only a question concerned with the paragraph 8 in the whole draft decision. So can we approve it and leave it for the further clarification in the morning tomorrow? Is it sufficient time to come to some consensus on the wording of this paragraph? How do you think, honorable colleagues? I think it's enough, if you don't mind. So then my proposal is as following. We will accept the draft decision in whole, but paragraph 8 will be left for the discussion in brackets until the confirmation and approval tomorrow morning at the beginning of the session. Can we approve it like that? I don't see any objections. Thank you for understanding. The paragraph is approved wholly, in whole, but bracket paragraph 8. Thank you very much. I think that there is no necessity to arrange a special group for the discussion. China will consult with the countries themselves within. No necessity to arrange special group for consultation on this matter. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. NGO, which NGO? I don't see them.
Yeah, it's up there next to the red lights.
Please, and introduce yourself, please. You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm speaking on behalf of World Heritage Watch Network and Rivers Without Boundaries International Coalition. Originally, we were requesting to talk on Silu, but it's completely irrelevant to the topic just discussed. I'm actually glad you gave me the floor now. Thank you. We see World Heritage protection as the core part of sustainable development concept, and biodiversity conservation is the key sustainable development goal, supporting many other CDGs. River ecosystems support livelihoods of billions of people and are most endangered component of global biodiversity. Civil society networks compiled for you a report called Heritage Dammed, analyzing threats from water infrastructure to world heritage globally. The report also suggests how to make the convention more effective in conservation on river and lake ecosystems and sustainable management of river basins. The examples on the table, Lake Turkana, largest desert lake in the world, or Silu Game Reserve, which is among the largest conservation areas in Africa with high biodiversity, represent exactly the cases where such conflicts take place and should be resolved. Much of the biodiversity of the Silu depends on Rufiji River. Much of biodiversity of Turkana depends on the regime of Oma River. From 50 cases of water infrastructure conflicts that we analyzed with the report, these two cases, namely the Gibe dams in Oma River and Stigler Gorge Dam in Rufiji River, are associated with greatest threats and irreversible damage to World Heritage values, as well as with potential violations of key decisions made by the committee. As we see now, it's also associated with procrastination, with decisions that are not being timely enforced, and as a result, the irreversible damage is caused. This challenging this should be confronted by strategic environmental assessments of development options and best ways to go about the basin-wide management, which will help to avoid this conflict. And we ask you to retain to those tools, especially in the light that many development alternatives to dam building are available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will take in consideration your intervention. Now, I would like to go back to the discussion proposed by Tunisia, old town of Gadames in Libya. I would like now to give the floor to the delegation of Tunisia to present to the committee the reason why it is requested to open the State of Conservation report on the old town of Gadames. The floor is yours, Tunisian delegation, please. S'il vous plaît.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. La demande faite par la Tunisie pour ouvrir le débat quant au site de l'ancienne ville de Gdames est extrêmement important à nos yeux parce que, comme cela ne vous a pas échappé, l'ensemble des sites classés par la Libye sont aujourd'hui au titre des sites menaçants sur la liste en péril. Et que la situation qui s'améliore dans certaines régions de la Libye et qui permet d'envisager un processus par étapes et un processus vertueux pour mener le site de Gdames vers la sortie de la liste en péril. Et je crois qu'il faut encourager les efforts de l'État partie qui, dans des conditions difficiles, fournit des efforts pour améliorer les conditions de protection et de conservation de ce site. C'est pour cela que nous considérons que ce point de départ que constitue la 43e session du Comité du patrimoine mondial est un point de départ vers un processus qui aboutirait à terme à la sortie de ce site de la liste en péril. Je crois qu'il y a là une démarche importante, pédagogique et vertueuse, et il faut appuyer et soutenir l'État partie en cette direction. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the recognition of the advisory body for the progress made by the State Party on the ground, demonstrating commitment to the conservation of the property despite of the prevailing situation, we would like to commend Libya for the efforts made to protect the OEV, the properties, through general improvement on the threatening factors, the increasing awareness by civil society, local, national authorities, and the high-level decision makers about the necessity to protect the cultural heritage in Libya. In addition to the establishment of a committee that is tasked with implementing strategies, elaborating management plans for all 5 of its World Heritage properties, in addition to allocating necessary resources. Having said that, we encourage the international community to provide the technical and financial support to achieve these objectives. We also encourage the State Party to invite a joint reactive monitoring mission to have in situ evaluation and start drafting desired state of conservation for removal from the list of the World Heritage danger, and putting corrective measures in place for Gadames, at least as a positive start, which can be applied for the rest of the sites in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some other opinions? Tanzania, please.
Chairperson delegation of Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania, commend the State Party of Libya for its commitment to protect and conserve the old town of Gadames, despite the current situation in the country we'll all hear about. The delegation of Tanzania commend the World Heritage Committee advisory body for continued support of the State Party despite the prevailing conflict. Chairperson delegation of Tanzania welcome effort by done by state party to address conservation issue well reported, notably the measures taken to maintain the restoration of the buildings, demanding during heavy rains of 2017, the documentation of entire city heritage according to the specific criteria, and the design of geographic information system for the documentation, inventory, and preservation of property. Chairperson, Tanzania encouraged the state party of Libya to continue its consultation with the Heritage Committee and advisory body to clarify the property boundary, which is an essential step toward effective protection and management of the property. Chairperson, Delegation of Tanzania, support the proposal of Tunisia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other intervention? So I would like to give the floor to ICOMOS, please. Mukamite, please. For you, please.
Thank you very much for the interventions. In fact, when the site was listed on the World Heritage List in danger, the desired state of conservation for removal of the property from the list in danger was not established. These and other measures, together with the organization of a joint reactive monitoring mission with the advisory bodies, would be necessary steps for ensuring the adequate protection and management systems are in place for the eventual removal of the property from the list in danger. The efforts made by the state party and their commitment, together with the commitment of all local communities of Ghadames, is highly commended and is further encouraged. We are very grateful for the invitation of the state party to visit, to conduct a reactive monitoring mission as soon as the situation allows. In the meantime, we are very pleased to begin the process for establishing corrective measures together with the state party and with the advisory bodies in order to begin the process that would eventually and hopefully contribute to removing the site from the World Heritage List in danger. I would like now to give the floor to ICOMOS for any further comments that they may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. ICOMOS fully understands that the state party considers that they would like to move towards removal of the site from the World Heritage List in danger as a prelude to considering how the other remaining 4 sites on the list might also be removed. We would like to note that when the committee inscribed all the Libyan properties on the list in danger, it requested the state party to gather information relating to damages to the property on their state of conservation and to develop an action plan for restoration. It also requested that the state party, in consultation with the World Heritage Centre and the advisory bodies, should prepare corrective measures as well as the desired state of conservation as soon as the situation allows and once the return to the stability in the country is effective. The state party is now suggesting that we have reached that point where the security situation would allow discussion on the preparation of a desired state of conservation for the old town of Ghadames. And ICOMOS will be very ready and willing to begin the process of dialogue with the state party on developing this document and the necessary corrective measures. As the properties, all the properties in Libya were put on the danger list because protection and conservation of outstanding universal value were considered to be no longer in place, the desired state of conservation needs to reflect primarily on these aspects, as well as on the other 2 aspects of adequate documentation and an action plan for restoration. We welcome the progress that has so far been made and look forward to collaborating with the state party over the development of a desired state of conservation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any committee member would like to take the floor? If not, I pass the floor now to the delegation of Libya, please. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The State Party of Libya are the opinion that the archaeological site of Ghadames has reached the desired state of conservation and protection for the preparation for its removal from the list World Heritage in danger. And Libya will work with the World Heritage Committee to develop a set of corrective measures for the property of Ghadames and to be completed within a set time frame. The purpose of the corrective measures are to prepare the site to be removed from the endangered list. Libya has invited the reactive monitoring mission to visit Ghadames as soon as the security situation permits. Ghadames residents enjoy a rare sense of closeness and accessibility to one another on both social and physical levels. This has helped the civil society and the city institution to protect and preserve their properties within the walls of the city. The state of Libya has made active efforts to develop a clear strategy for the protection of the heritage and has been commended by the World Heritage Committee. The short-term plans for the site include CCTV security and fire systems in the core area of the old town. The Development Authority of the Old City of Ghadames has taken the first step by commissioning a visibility studies in order to get the most appropriate system for the site. There has been no impact on the World Heritage Site of Ghadames as the result of the current conflict, I must assure you. The site has been secured by the tourist police and the local community since 2011. Libya has implemented conservation action and the corrective measures for the property arising from the unexpected heavy rainfall during December 2017, which actually is due to climate change. The state of Libya wishes to thank World Heritage Committee for its effort to help Libya to protect and secure its sites. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments, for your explanations, and I would like to remark that we receive with great satisfaction your announcement of your willingness to receive a mission, and be sure that a mission will be willing to attend your invitation as soon as security conditions permit. Thank you very much. Now, the delegation of Hungary has the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chair. Hungary is supporting the opinion of Libya. This Ghadames is in a region which is quite peaceful in Libya, and also the circumstances in every respect are prospective and good for the World Heritage Site. I suppose that a positive decision and as soon as possible and making a statement to put it to take it down from the World Heritage List in danger would be a good signage for Libya and the other state parties in the region that in the case of peaceful conditions, the World Heritage and cultural heritage can be protected and enhanced as in the older times. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The distinguished delegation of Tunisia has the floor. Thank you.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je ne vous cache pas que nous sommes extrêmement heureux de voir s'installer ce débat cet après-midi. Il dégage beaucoup d'ondes positives, j'allais dire, qui est en écho avec notre discussion de ce matin, qui était d'un ordre conceptuel. Donc la mise sur la liste du patrimoine en péril n'est pas une fatalité, qu'il y a un dépassement dès que les conditions sont réunies. Nous avons vu l'État partie réagir positivement face aux propositions et la main tendue par les instances consultatives. Quoi de plus heureux pour nous? Et cela correspond tout à fait à l'esprit de la discussion de ce matin. Et je crois que c'est extrêmement important de souligner ce moment positif et d'aider l'État partie à aller vers une direction positive, en commençant par le site d'Ordems qui offre probablement les conditions de sortie les plus proches des conditions exigées par notre Convention. Je crois que c'est un moment heureux que nous vivons cet après-midi en cette 43e session. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Tunisie, pour votre intervention, tout à fait dans l'esprit de ces comités d'aider les États parties. Merci beaucoup. If there are no more interventions on the side of member states, are there any other? Yes, I can see an observer. Please identify yourself before you take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me the floor. I am from World Heritage Watch. Please allow me to highlight a few important points regarding the Libyan World Heritage Sites. Despite the fact that Libya is currently suffering severe conflict, political instability, and economic crisis, a lot of work has been done to preserve the sites. I here bring your attention to the old city of Ghadames. The Libyan State Party, together with the civil society, have implemented a management plan, and ever since its condition has improved. Therefore, we recommend that it is lifted from the endangered list, and we request that the UNESCO WHC should work with UN headquarters to reassess the security situation in Ghadames in order to create preconditions for a reactive monitoring mission being sent to the Libyan World Heritage Sites. The World Heritage Committee should work with the Libyan State Party to develop a management plan for the 5 Libyan heritage sites following consultation with the relative Libyan authorities, local community, and civil society. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. If there aren't any further interventions, I think we can now move to analyze the draft decision, and I would pass the floor to our rapporteur right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As flagged by our distinguished delegate from Kuwait, we have received an amendment from Tunisia, Kuwait and Bahrain. This is for an addition to paragraph 9. And it will read, also requests the State Party to develop a set of corrective measures and a timeframe for their implementation, as well as the desired state of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger in collaboration with the World Heritage Centre and advisory bodies, and to submit to the World Heritage Centre by 1 February 2020 an updated report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 44th session in 2020. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Since this is the only amendment to the decision presented by the delegation of Tunisia, I understand that all the previous paragraphs, that we can take all the previous paragraphs as approved, and I submit to your consideration only paragraph 9. Are there any amendments to this paragraph? I see none, so I think we can take this decision as adopted. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the whole decision is approved, I understand. Do I count on your agreement? No disagreement, so done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we move to the analysis of the decision on item 28, Birthplace of Jesus, Church of the Nativity, and the Pilgrimage Route, Bethlehem. I will now invite Mrs. Shear of the Arab States Unit of the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS to present the reports on the state of conservation of the cultural properties located in the Arab States region and opened for discussion. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The report on the property, Birthplace of Jesus, Church of the Nativity, and the Pilgrimage Route, Bethlehem in Palestine, is open for discussion as it is proposed for removal from the list of World Heritage in danger. The report is available in document WHC/19/43.com/7A on page 28 of the English version and 29 of the French version. Since the adoption of the desired state of conservation for removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger during the committee's 29th session, progress in implementing the necessary corrective measures have mainly focused on the high-quality conservation works as well as the finalization of the conservation management plan. The World Heritage Center has received full details of the works undertaken in accordance with the committee's previous request. The conservation management plan is well organized and has been completed through a consultative process. All of this has been achieved through the commitment of this third party and its agencies in ensuring best practices in the conservation of the property, which is very commendable. Overall, it can be concluded that the desired state of conservation and the needed corrective measures have been achieved. Therefore, we are pleased to say that the recommendation is to have the property removed from the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you for your attention. And now I would like to give the floor to ICOMOS for their comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Conservation work at the Church of the Nativity and its narthex undertaken since 2013 include restoration of the roof, the narthex itself, joinery, external stone facades, internal wall plastering, wall mosaics, joinery and columns. And this work is of a high technical standard. As requested by the committee, the documentation submitted by the state party includes analysis of the historical research and physical evidence revealed during conservation works regarding the dates of particular building components. The building has been much altered over the centuries, and despite the investigations completed, it is not possible to reach specific conclusions about the chronology of the extant fabric. The Integrated Conservation Management Plan for the property demonstrates commitment to conserving the property and has been revised in response to ICOMOS advice. The cancellation of the Manger Square Village Tunnel project is welcome, and additional technical advice has been provided to the state party regarding plans for the revival of Star Street. ICOMOS is pleased to advise that the corrective measures adopted by the committee are now complete and the desired state of conservation for removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger has been achieved. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. My dear colleagues, I now invite you to adopt the draft decision 43.7a.28 concerning this property. But before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments on the draft decision. You have the floor, please. Thank you.
Thank you. We've received no amendments to this decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments on this topic? Yes, Brazil, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The Brazilian delegation fully supports the draft decision relating to the removal of the birthplace of Jesus, Church of the Nativity and the Pilgrimage Route, Bethlehem, from the list of the World Heritage in Danger. We commend the Palestinian Committee for Restoration of the Nativity Church for the successful coordination of the restoration works, which counted on the support of countries from different regions. Brazil was very pleased to participate in this effort by contributing to the restoration of Byzantine mosaics in the southern nave of the basilica. We should celebrate the fact that the Basilica of the Nativity, one of the most important pilgrimage sites for the Christian faith, now fully recovers its outstanding universal value. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you very much. This is really a moment for celebration. Tunisia, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Alors pour rester sur la lancée de notre discussion de tout à l'heure, voici encore un exemple où la convergence entre l'expertise technique, entre l'écoute des instances consultatives et l'État partie, avec le temps et le progrès, nous ramène à des résultats satisfaisants. Nous devons nous en féliciter et donc en tout aboutissement logique, nous soutenons fortement cette décision.
Thank you very much for your comments. The delegation of Norway has the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. World heritage belongs to humanity, and sometimes due to various circumstances, the international community is obliged to take shared responsibility and work together to safeguard the most vulnerable of all the World Heritage sites, those that we find on the list of World Heritage in danger. It is therefore a truly special day when a state party with a property on the danger list has met the requirements as specified in the operational guidelines para 183 concerning the desired state of conservation for the removal from the list of World Heritage in danger. The birthplace of Jesus, the Church of the Nativity and the pilgrimage route in Bethlehem has been on the danger list since its inscription on the World Heritage list in 2012. On this day, to be able to see the results of systematic long-term work in line with agreed good practice principles, with excellent provisions for and commitment to management and conservation, leading to the removal from the list of World Heritage in danger is historic. Norway wishes to commend and thank the State Party and all involved stakeholders and emphasize the significant contributions of financial and technical assistance, amongst others the extra budgetary contributions made available by Italy and Sweden. In one sense, international collaboration can be said to have been an underlying factor in the stewardship of this holy site for nearly 2,000 years. This has become an exemplary case, proving the unsurpassed value and potential of the danger listing mechanism, showcasing how close collaboration between the state party, the international community, UNESCO and the advisory bodies, and most importantly, the many stakeholders involved on the ground, can lead to exceptional results. The State Party has shown us all that patient, strategic long-term efforts towards implementing the corrective measures, as well as international cooperation and continuous expert advice, ultimately leads to results of the highest quality. We have full confidence that the committed efforts for protection, conservation and management of this outstanding property will continue in the future. And further, we trust fully that the recommendations concerning the historic urban landscape approach, as well as those coming from the ICOMOS technical review, will be duly observed and implemented. And Norway fully supports the draft decision. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I now pass the floor to the distinguished delegate of Kuwait, please.
Let me say, first of all, Kuwait extremely support the draft decision on the screen, and we are so delighted that there is a site been removed from the danger list, and also more extreme for a place where is much needed a positive information, positive atmosphere, positive ambience for the place to be removed from the danger list. And also would like to thank the whole stakeholders with the advisory board and World Heritage Center for their extreme work, especially in a place where it's hard to produce a positive and to be hard to access for. So finally, congratulations for everyone involved. This is a great news for the UNESCO. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Spain, please.
Brevemente, señora presidenta, para sumarnos a los agradecimientos al trabajo que se ha realizado. Muchas veces la inclusión de un país en una lista en peligro, muchas veces no siempre es rehuida porque tiene una significación peyorativa, pero en algunos casos se puede entender también aquellos elementos positivos que tiene, como es incentivar la colaboración entre Estados y dar inicio a unos esfuerzos para salvar el bien que en este momento se encuentra en peligro. Nosotros queremos también felicitar a los Estados que han sido solidarios y han colaborado, tanto Italia como Suecia o Brasil, con la restauración de los mosaicos, y queremos decir que respaldamos esta resolución como un ejemplo de cómo se puede rescatar un bien en un momento determinado si todos ponemos el interés en ello y somos conscientes de que el patrimonio en peligro no solamente es un problema del lugar que determina la ubicación de ese patrimonio, sino un problema de la humanidad. El esfuerzo de UNESCO, el esfuerzo de ICOMOS y el esfuerzo de los Estados que presupuestariamente han querido colaborar hacen que a veces la lista en peligro tenga un elemento positivo que nos cuesta ver, pero que en este caso tiene su producto en esta resolución. Felicitamos al Estado de Palestina por esta cuestión y por este trabajo, sabiendo las dificultades que entraña y a cuantos han colaborado. Apoyaremos, por supuesto, esta resolución.
Muchísimas gracias, distinto delegado de España. I would now like to pass the floor to the delegation of Azerbaijan. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation also joins the previous speakers in congratulating the State Party for this huge success, and it is indeed a great pleasure for my country, host country, to associate itself to this decision taken in Baku. We would like to commend the efforts of the State Party, namely in complying the recommendations of the committee decisions, previous committee decisions. We would like to also commend the State Party for presentation for all the reconstructions works that they have done so far, and the conservation management plan which was submitted to the World Heritage Center, and I would say constructive the cooperation and the dialogue with the advisory bodies and the center. So in that regard, again, we would like to congratulate the Palestine and express our full support to the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The delegation of Hungary has the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for giving us the floor. We welcome this draft decision and we commend the State Party for the formidable work done. It's a very happy day when any site is removed from the danger list, and the Church of Nativity is an iconic site for millions of Christians around the globe. Hungary was the first foreign state to make a contribution to the reconstruction of the church, and this is in line with Hungary's commitment for the cause of supporting Christian churches and communities in the Middle East as a priority, and they can rely on our support also in the future. We rejoice to see this very positive development for the preservation of one of Christianity's most important holy sites, and we would like to congratulate once again the State Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now pass the floor to the distinguished delegate of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you, Madam
Please, you have
Chairman. We would like to add our words of support for this decision to remove from the danger list the Church of the Nativity and the pilgrimage route in Bethlehem. We would also fully commend enthusiastically all the stakeholders who were involved in achieving this historically important milestone in the annals of the World Heritage Committee. An excellent example, I have to say, of constructive cooperation by all parties. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. I would pass the floor to the delegation of Tanzania. Please, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, the delegation of United Republic of Tanzania wished also to join other committee members to express our sincere congratulations to the State Party for accomplishing a remarkable work to ensure the implementation of desired state of conservation. We also congratulate the State Party for being able to establish new natural cultural heritage legislation which contributes to the protection of the property. Madam Chair, the United Republic of Tanzania fully support the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The delegation of Bahrain has the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. We also would like to join our voice in fully supporting this draft decision and commend the State Party of Palestine for fulfilling its commitment to the World Heritage Committee and to the Convention. We would also like to reiterate the importance of the danger listing mechanism as a positive means in achieving the desired state of conservation, and we follow the same comments raised by our previous speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would pass the floor to the distinguished delegate of China. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. China wishes to echo the sentiment of all the previous speakers. We want to congratulate the state parties involved, and we associate ourselves with full support of the draft amendments, and we want to thank all the participants in the conservation of this great property. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The delegation of Zimbabwe has the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The delegation of Zimbabwe is up to note the commendable progress that the State Party of Palestine has achieved in the conservation and management of the birthplace of Jesus' World Heritage Property. As a result of the said works, we supported the drafted decision to remove the property from the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The delegation of Australia has the floor, please.
Short and sweet, like the achievement we celebrate today, we congratulate heartily the State Party of Palestine on this achievement.
I think that after this overwhelming wave of support,
Cuba. Pardon.
I'm sorry, before that, we haven't seen, I'm sorry, the delegation of Cuba has the floor. Please, go ahead.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Seré muy breve. Simplemente queremos compartir la alegría de este comité y particularmente de Palestina por ese esfuerzo realizado y el resultado de poder sacar este sitio de la lista del Patrimonio Mundial en Peligro. Creo que todos tenemos motivo de orgullo con ese resultado. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. I think after so many expressions of appreciation, support, and joy with this draft decision, I think we can consider it approved. If there is nothing against it, I would like to declare it approved and also take this opportunity to congratulate the Palestinian authorities for their extraordinary work congratulating the Palestinian authorities for their extraordinary work in coordinating the restoration of the Nativity Church. We would like to say how pleased this committee is, and also all UNESCO, ICOMOS, World Heritage Center are with this important moment. So at this point, I would like to pass the floor to the State Party to express their views. Thank you very much.
Obrigado, Madame la Présidente. Well, actually, after these interventions of the committee members, it is really something special for us. It is a special day for me and my colleague from the ministry, Dr. Ajoub, who's our expert present here. And unfortunately, a part of what I wanted to say has been said by the committee members. Nevertheless, let me, Madam Chair, to thank first you and all the members of the committee, but also for the valuable support of all state parties, companies, individuals who financially, technically, and morally supported the restoration of the Nativity Church in Bethlehem. Our thanks also for the advisory bodies, and especially ICOMOS and ICROM, for their continuous support, and of course the Secretariat. We don't forget the Secretariat and their continuous support also. And special thanks to Ramallah UNESCO office, who has been involved since the beginning of the process. Madame la Présidente, les travaux de restauration de l'église de Nativité, comme ça a été souligné par les membres du comité, ont été réalisés selon les normes en vigueur pour les sites inscrits, pour les sites inscrits sur la liste de patrimoine, avec un très haut niveau de professionnalisme. Madame la Présidente, nous sommes vraiment fiers des travaux réalisés par nos experts, par le Comité présidentiel pour la restauration de la Nativité, le ministère du Tourisme et de l'Antiquité et bien sûr les experts internationaux venus de l'Italie, que nous remercions chaleureusement à cette occasion. Il est nécessaire de souligner ce qui a été dit par beaucoup de membres, que la Palestine a respecté son engagement et a travaillé main en main avec le Centre de patrimoine mondial et les advisory bodies, et notamment le ICOMOS. Pour finir, Madam Chair, allow me to address to you and to all participants to this important session a cordial invitation to the opening of the exhibition on the restoration of the Nativity Church that will be held on Friday 5th at the balcony EA1 to celebrate together the renaissance of the Nativity Church in Bethlehem, which is situated in the state of Palestine, but it belongs to the whole humanity. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, and congratulations once again. Thank you. Well, at this point, I would like to pass the floor to the director of the World Heritage Center, who has an announcement to make. Please.
I would just like to inform you that we have the list of sites which are opened of discussion in Information Document 7, Ref.3, as we discussed this morning in the Bureau. But apparently we are receiving now amendments for sites which are not on this list. So in case any of the committee members who wish to open another site, could you please formally inform us, because otherwise no changes to the draft decisions can be made. And my understanding is that there were two requests, one from Bahrain and one from China. Maybe you could just clarify now, because that means we need to issue a new list so that everybody is fully informed about the situation. Thank you so much.
The delegation of Bahrain, you have the floor. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. We have just proposed on the site of in Tunisia, Carthage, which was just a simple paragraph that acknowledges the efforts of the state party of addressing some of the recommendations set forth by previous decisions. It's very minor. I don't think it will require a lot of discussion by committee member. And it has been co-sponsored by Kuwait as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We would now like to listen to the delegation of China. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. this request of new addition concerns draft decision 43.7b.56. And it's only a very minor change. It doesn't change the content of whatsoever. It is at the request of the state party concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Both observations are noted, and we will issue a new list. Thank you very much. We shall now, with your indulgence, proceed to the discussion proposed by Tunisia on item 33, ancient city of Damascus, Syrian Arab Republic. For the next property,
sorry, we should open the discussion also on another topic. I think you didn't saw us. The idea was to open the discussion on topic 98, which is Valparaiso, the historic quarter of support of city of Valparaiso. Sorry.
thank you very much. Has Norway requested the floor too? No? No, okay. Thank you so much. And sorry, Brazil, for ignoring Brazil. But now put your plate down because I thought it was remaining from your previous intervention. Thank you. Now we go back to our items, and for the next property to be discussed, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Tunisia to present to the committee the reason why you requested to open the State of Conservation report on the ancient city of Damascus, Syrian Arab Republic. Excellency, distinguished delegate of Tunisia, you have the floor. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Alors, sur la lancée de cet après-midi, je crois que les arguments à avancer pour qu'une première étape soit franchie en direction de la sortie du site de Damas de la liste du patrimoine en péril devient plus aisée et plus évidente, et je m'en félicite. Damas est sur la liste du patrimoine mondial depuis que cette liste existe. C'est l'un des premiers sites inscrits. Donc c'est dire son éligibilité à en faire partie et son éligibilité à représenter le patrimoine mondial dans sa diversité. Nous savons tous la situation qui sévit actuellement en Syrie et plus généralement dans toute la région. Cela rend l'idée même de regarder ces sites comme susceptibles de quitter cette liste probablement hasardeux aux yeux de certains. Ce que notre démarche veut souligner, c'est que ce site est particulièrement en situation de moindre danger, même si nous n'excluons pas que des problèmes persistent, et nous soulignons, comme nous l'avons fait pour d'autres sites, une démarche positive, graduée, qui serait à l'arrivée avec un aboutissement de faire sortir Damas de cette liste. Donc nous voudrions à la fois souligner la particularité de ce site par rapport aux autres sites du même pays, qui sont tous sur la liste en danger, mais également l'amélioration relative de la situation dans la région qui permet d'envisager cette sortie. Et donc, nous voudrions, comme nous l'avons fait pour un site précédent sur lequel nous avons adopté une résolution déjà, que c'est une démarche graduelle, pédagogique et aussi vertueuse pour que la mise sur la liste ne soit pas considérée comme une situation définitive. À nous maintenant de nous adresser à l'État partie et de lui dire quels sont les pas qu'il doit franchir en vue d'atteindre cet objectif. Je crois que cela relève aussi de la responsabilité des États parties du comité de procéder ainsi, de montrer la direction et de montrer parfois la voie de la sortie de la liste en péril. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I would now like to ask Mrs. May Shear of the Arab States Unit of the World Heritage Center and also ICOMOS to react to your proposal and to your comments. Thank you very much. So you have the floor, Mrs. Shear.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, the ancient city of Damascus was inscribed in 2013 on the list of World Heritage in Danger because the optimal conditions were not considered to have been present to ensure the conservation and protection of the outstanding universal value of the property. The efforts of the state party in recent months and years in the conservation and management of the property are very much welcome and are greatly encouraged. The invitation by the state party to undertake a joint reactive monitoring mission with the advisory bodies as soon as the situation allows is very much appreciated. This would enable assessing the protection and management measures that are in place. In the meantime, it is possible to initiate immediately the process for establishing the necessary corrective measures with the state party and as well as with the advisory bodies. This would allow for eventually achieving the desired state of conservation for removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in Danger. I would like now to give the floor to ICOMOS for their further intervention. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ICOMOS and ICROM have supported and will continue to support the State Party with its efforts to safeguard its cultural heritage. The improved security situation for this property offers an opportunity to resume work on the suspended management plan, which was requested by the committee at its 34th session in 2010. Preliminary actions, such as the database of documentation and archives, are an important part of the recovery process, as they can inform conservation decisions and foster coordination between stakeholders. The reasons behind fires previously reported within the property should still be analysed, and risk prevention and mitigation measures outlined in the emergency response plan should be implemented, as should the recommendations of the 2016 First Aid Support Meeting and the UNESCO Technical Assistance Workshop. ICOMOS and ICROM agree it would now be opportune to pursue preparation of an agreed set of corrective measures and to identify the desired state of conservation for removal so that there is a roadmap to guide the State Party and all stakeholders towards removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in Danger. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I would now like to open to comments by the members of the committee. I can see Kuwait would like to express himself. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank the World Heritage Center and the Advisory Board for the great work they've been doing for the ancient city of Damascus. Like my colleague said, from Tunisia, I think it's always a starting point for a removal site from the World Heritage in Danger list. And it's time to have the roadmap for the corrective measures and the corrective action plans for the state parties and the stakeholders and the advisory board and also the World Heritage Center for the removal of the site of the endangered list. So Kuwait truly support this measures or this action or these decisions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear colleague. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Tanzania.
Thank you, Chair. This is another site which has been put on a World Heritage in danger for the last 6 years, and the site has not been, the corrective measures have not been identified, and the desired set of conservation for removal has not been prepared. Tanzania delegation notes with appreciation the establishment of a center for the production of building materials, the proposed development of a digital tour guide for the local communities, and the project on raising awareness to the history of the property. Tanzania calls upon the advisory bodies in consultation with the state party to try and see how they can assist and work with the state party to develop a desired set of conservation for removal as soon as possible, or to go and assess the conservation status of the site so as to give an opinion on the actual situation at present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The distinguished delegate of China has the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. China wishes to support the motion by Tunisia and Kuwait, and we also welcome the input just by ICMOS and ICROM for their expert support, and we welcome this move. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would pass the floor to ICOMOS, who would like to comment on the intervention of Tanzania. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I welcome the contribution from the Honourable Delegate from Tanzania and wanted to make clear on behalf of ICOMOS and ICROM, there was a meeting with the State Party as recently as yesterday, and we strongly support and stand ready to work on the identification of the desired state of conservation and corrective measures, and to follow up with a reactive monitoring mission to this property as soon as the security situation allows. We see this property as the appropriate forefront of a process which may hopefully see all of the Syrian properties progressively removed from the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If there are no more additional comments, I would like to invite you to move now to the analysis of the decision. And in this regard, I would like to ask our rapporteur if she has received any amendments on the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've received no amendments for this decision.
Thank you. With the draft now being exhibited, since there are no amendments, I think we are very pleased to approve this decision right now. Thank you very much. Approved. Thank you. I would now, my dear colleagues, invite Mrs. Shear to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger located in the Arab States region, for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The list of cultural properties in the Arab region for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion are Abu Mina in Egypt, Ashur, Qalat Sharqat in Iraq, Hatra in Iraq, Samara Archaeological City in Iraq. There's also a general decision on the World Heritage Properties of Iraq, the archaeological site of Cyrene in Libya, the archaeological site of Liptus Magna in Libya, the archaeological site of Sabrata in Libya, the rock sites of Tadrat Akakus in Libya, Palestine, land of olives and vines, cultural landscape of southern Jerusalem, Batir in Palestine, the ancient city of Aleppo in the Syrian Arab Republic, the ancient city of Bosra in the Syrian Arab Republic, the ancient villages of northern Syria in the Syrian Arab Republic, the Crac des Chevaliers and Qal'at Salah ad-Din in the Syrian Arab Republic, the site of Palmyra in the Syrian Arab Republic. There's also a general decision on the World Heritage Properties of the Syrian Arab Republic. the historic town of Zabid in Yemen, the old city of Sana'a in Yemen, and the old walled city of Shibam in Yemen. These are all the properties proposed for discussion, for adoption without discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there is no objection from the committee on the State of Conservation report, I declare the decisions read out adopted. No comments? I declare them adopted. Thank you very much. I would now like to ask whether any observer delegation would like to make use of the floor about one of the properties for which we have adopted the decision without discussion.
There is one, I cannot read it.
Well, we cannot read from here, but please identify yourself as you take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since we take the floor for the first time, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks for the great hospitality of Azerbaijan. Our statement will be regarding the item 34, particularly in response to the State Party's report. We want to underline three factors. Firstly, no monitoring mission has been undertaken to the site due to the security situation. Secondly, the SOC report clearly indicates the elements affecting the property, such as use of ancient stones as building material, illegal constructions, quarrying, and use of the sites by internally displaced persons and armed groups. Thirdly, the SOC report again states that access to the site is limited and full extent of damage cannot be assessed. Under these conditions, without undertaking a monitoring mission in the site, we have difficulty to understand the consistent allegations of the State Party. There is no causal relation between our military operations in the neighborhood and the damages in the site. We stated our position on this matter in reply to the previous allegations during the 205th Executive Board session as well. Turkey is fully aware of its responsibilities derived from the 1972 and 1954 conventions, as well as from the UN Security Council resolutions 2347. With this understanding, we hope that the reactive monitoring mission will be carried out as soon as possible as the security situation allows, thus a real state of conservation of the said site and the original causes of the damage can be assessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would appreciate very much if you could clarify which site you were referring to. It was not very clear to us. Thank you.
Absolutely, Madam Chair. It is numbered 34, which is the northern villages in Syria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any more comments? Syrian? Please, the Syrian delegation, you have the floor. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the organizers and UNESCO for organizing this session and for their effort to support and protecting and preserving the Syrian cultural heritage during the crisis, which is a part of human heritage. And I appreciate you for considering our request in removing Damascus ancient city from the endangered list. And we look forward to send a joint monitoring mission to Syria, and as is the state of the conservation to the city and other sites listed on the World Heritage Site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments? I'm sorry, I can't see very well from here, but I understand that there are no more comments. And I believe we can now proceed with our agenda without any further interventions. Thank you. This is not. I now invite Mr. Jing, Chief of the Asia-Pacific Unit of the World Heritage Center, to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger located in the Asia-Pacific region, for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. You have the floor. Thank you, Mr. Jin.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The following cultural properties inscribed on the World Heritage List for which the draft decision will be adopted without discussion: cultural landscape and the archaeological remains of Bamiyan Valley in Afghanistan, minaret and archaeological remains of Jam in Afghanistan, Damando Ceremony Center of Eastern Micronesia in Federal States of Micronesia, the Historical Center of Shaksiabs in Uzbekistan. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you. Well, if there is no objection from the committee on the State of Conservation report, I declare the decision read out adopted. So the decision is adopted. Thank you very much. I would now like to ask whether any observer delegation would like to express themselves about one of the properties for which we have adopted the decision without discussion. Are there any comments? I see no comments, so we can proceed, I understand. We now move to the discussion proposed by Hungary on the medieval monuments in Kosovo, Serbia. For cultural properties located in Europe and North America, I now give the floor to the delegation of Hungary to present to the committee the reason it requested to open the state of conservation of the World Heritage Medieval Monuments in Kosovo. Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. The World Heritage Property Medieval Monuments in Kosovo in Serbia was inscribed on the list of World Heritage in Danger in 2006. The debate on this property was adjourned by the World Heritage Committee during its 42nd session in Manama. And the Hungarian delegation wishes to open the discussion for this property because the present circumstances are still not met for a debate on it. So we suggest the committee to adjourn the debate on this agenda item to the 44th committee session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Azerbaijan. You have the floor, distinguished colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation would like to second the proposal of the distinguished colleague from Hungary and to request the postponement of this decision to the next session of the committee. Thank you.
Well, I would now like to listen to the distinguished delegate of China. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, very short that we support the proposal by the distinguished colleagues from Hungary and seconded by Azerbaijan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I pass the floor to the distinguished colleague from Uganda. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
The delegation of Uganda supports the proposal by Hungary, seconded by Azerbaijan, and supported by China. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I paso la palabra al querido colega de España, por favor.
Muchas gracias, Presidenta. Con toda brevedad, para decir que nos sumamos a la propuesta de Hungría y que, por tanto, la respaldamos.
Muchísimas gracias. I would now pass the floor to my distinguished colleague of Indonesia. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indonesia also supports the proposals of Hungary, Azerbaijan, China, and Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that with so many expressions of support to the proposal of Hungary, I understand that we all agree that the debate is adjourned on this topic. So is agreed. Thank you very much. Sorry. I now invite Mrs. Anatole Gabriel, Chief of the European and North America Unit of the World Heritage Center, to read the list of the properties for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. You have the floor, please. Thank you.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La liste des rapports proposés aux distingués membres du comité pour adoption sans discussion sont le Centre historique de Vienne, de l'État partie d'Autriche, et Liverpool, port marchand du Royaume-Uni de Grande-Bretagne et d'Irlande du Nord. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. If there is no objection from the committee on this State of Conservation report, I declare the decision read out adopted. Well, nothing against it, so it is adopted. Thank you very much. I would now like to ask whether any observer delegation would like to express themselves about one of the properties for which we have adopted the decision without discussion. Well, unless we have a telescope, we could see everything. We can't see very well, but from what I can see, there are no comments, no, I see none, so we can proceed. Thank you very much. We now move to the discussion proposed on Humberstone and Santa Laura saltpeter works in Chile. Property proposed to be removed from the list of World Heritage in danger. I will now invite Mr. Moreno Triana of the Latin America and the Caribbean Unit of the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS to present the reports on the state of conservation of the cultural properties located in the region and opened for discussion. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to introduce the report on Humberstone and Santa Laura saltpeter works in Chile. The report can be found in document 43-7A, pages 53 of the English version and pages 55 of the French version. As the distinguished members of the committee may recall, this property was included on the World Heritage List in danger in 2005 with the strong support of the State Party. At that time, this industrial complex had suffered significant deterioration of its material fabric due to the difficult climatic conditions and lack of regular maintenance. The corrective measures were updated in 2013, after which the State Party, the World Heritage Center, and ICOMOS reinforce their cooperation to support the achievement of the DSOC-R. The national authorities, in particular the National Monuments Council, and now the new National Service for Cultural Heritage, have invested significant financial, technical, and human resources needed to address the property's long-standing challenges and vulnerabilities. The last ICOMOS advisory mission, which took place in November 2018, confirmed the extraordinary progress made by the state party in the conservation and management of the property, and concluded that essentially 100% of the corrective measures had been completed. Since the inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in danger, Humberston and Santa Laura Salpeter works has undergone a transformation, not only in terms of its physical conservation, but also in terms of the appropriation by the local communities of the Pampino history and culture in connection to this important site. In terms of addressing the extremely fragile state of conservation of many of the property's buildings, the state party has implemented the entire priority interventions and to stabilize and restore the most important structures. It has also formally established and regulated a buffer zone, has now improved the safety and security for its staff and visitors, and has a fully operational and sustainable tourism strategy, which includes the creation of a new visitor center inaugurated in 2018. Finally, Madam Chair, it's important to highlight that today the property serves as a dynamic educational and cultural space for the local communities, in particular through the role played by the Salpeters Museum Corporation. It is therefore the view of the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS that this case is an exemplary process of using an inscription of the World Heritage List in danger to generate and streamline much-needed attention and resources from the local communities all the way to the highest level of government. This process can be seen as a good practice for the Latin America and the Caribbean region, and the lessons learned over the past several years will surely benefit other properties with similar vulnerabilities and characteristics. Having completed almost 100% of the very ambitious set of corrective measures, the removal of the Humberston and Santa Laura Salpeter works from the list of World Heritage in danger is highly recommended. Madam Chair, ICOMOS would like to provide additional comment on this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Humberston and Santa Laura Saltpeter Works property was inscribed on the list of World Heritage in Danger in 2005 with strong agreement by the state party because of the perilous physical state arising from fragile nature of its industrial buildings, lack of maintenance, vandalism and natural forces. The state party has progressively focused on addressing these threats over a sustained period, with support from the World Heritage Centre and the advisory bodies. The ICOMOS advisory mission in November 2008 reported on significant progress and achievements with conservation and management. The 2006 Priority Implementation Program, directed at emergency structural stabilisation, is substantively complete. Security measures including fencing and patrols have been implemented. The Saltpeter Museum Corporation, which owns and manages the property, is functioning effectively, and there is now a stable work team of qualified staff. There is also an effective program of liaison and interaction with other authorities. The local management agency must continue to receive support from government at all levels. The 2003 to 2018 management plan has been implemented effectively, and an updated plan is being prepared, providing for the protection and conservation of the property and joint decisions involving social, political and administrative actors. The Heritage Interpretation Strategic Plan has also been implemented. Appropriate intervention guidelines and legislation are in place for the established buffer zone. In collaboration, the Saltpeter Museum Corporation and the State Party have designed and implemented priority programs and management arrangements focused on the conservation of the outstanding universal value of the property. The 2008 mission provided further guidance on the integrated participatory management plan for the property and ongoing preventative conservation actions to address the property's inherent vulnerabilities. The updated corrective measures adopted by the committee at its 37th session are now complete, and the desired state of conservation for the removal from of the property from the list of World Heritage in Danger has been achieved. Significantly, this property provides an exemplar benchmark of how the process of in danger listing can be used to deliver essential support to the state party in addressing significant threats to outstanding universal value. ICOMOS and ICROM hope that the state party might share this experience with other World Heritage properties, including through the next World Heritage Site Managers Forum. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. My dear colleagues and friends, I would like now to know if you have any comments on the reports that have just been presented to us. I pass the floor now to the distinguished delegation of Australia. Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Australia congratulates Chile on completing all the corrective measures to meet the desired state of conservation for the property, especially given the extremely fragile nature of many of the structures. We have very few relatively large industrial properties on the World Heritage List, and they do pose significant problems for conservation. It's particularly impressive in this case that along with the successful stabilisation of these structures, based on research to identify methods of conservation specific to the fabric and the conditions of the property, and the development of a comprehensive management plan for the property, that there's also a sustainable funding mechanism to support ongoing conservation and management. The collective work of the State Party, the Saltpeter Museum Corporation and the local government agencies, and of course the local community, provide an exemplar for us of best practice, and we fully support removal from the World Heritage List in danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. La palabra ahora con el distinguido representante de España. Por favor.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Estamos ante un nuevo ejemplo de que después de la lista en peligro sigue habiendo vida. Y en algunos casos se sale con más vida de la que se entra. Si para ello solo hace falta proponérselo, ponernos todos manos a la obra y tomar una acción decidida. En este caso queremos agradecer a ICOMOS y a cuantos esfuerzos han hecho de la UNESCO para colaborar con esta restauración y sobre todo felicitar a nuestros hermanos de Chile porque están dando un ejemplo de que una obra incluida en una lista en peligro puede salir de ella convertida en un referente de buenas prácticas y un referente y modelo para nuevas actuaciones similares. Por tanto, estamos de enhorabuena, igual que ha pasado en el caso de Belén en Palestina, y queremos dejar patente nuestro apoyo a la resolución, a la vez que nuestra felicitación más afectiva a nuestros colegas y hermanos de Chile por el buen trabajo realizado, porque eso nos anima a continuar trabajando por el patrimonio y anima a quienes están en la lista en peligro a no deprimirse y a continuar recabando apoyos y recabando la solidaridad del resto de Estados que sin duda se encuentra. Vamos pues a por ello. Muchas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. Ahora con la palabra el colega de Cuba, por favor.
Señora Presidenta, en el año 2005 el Comité de Patrimonio Mundial asumió el reto de incluir en la lista del Patrimonio Mundial un sitio y a su vez incluirlo en la lista del Patrimonio en Peligro. Este es un ejemplo de trabajo paciente, de trabajo consagrado, en primer lugar del Estado parte, Chile, y con la ayuda de los órganos consultivos para hoy tener un resultado palpable. Felicitamos a Chile por hoy poder compartir con nosotros que este sitio ya no está en la lista del Patrimonio en Peligro. Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Brazil. Please, you have the floor.
Senhora Presidente, as oficinas de Humberstone e Santa Laura em Chile, com mais de 200 lugares de estação de salitre, lograram acolher miles de trabalhadores ligados de Chile, Peru e Bolívia, que formaram uma cultura comunitária única, caracterizada por sua criatividade, riqueza linguística e vínculos solidários entre sus miembros y su lucha por la justicia social. Debido a la vulnerabilidad de las estructuras y posteriormente el impacto del terremoto de 2014, el sitio se envolvió en la lista del Patrimonio Mundial en Peligro, para ayudar a movilizar recursos para su conservación. Tenemos ante el comité un ejemplo claro de cómo el mecanismo de la lista en peligro puede facilitar las condiciones para lograrse el deseado estado de conservación de un bien de patrimonio mundial. Brasil quisiera felicitar el Estado parte por los esfuerzos de más de 15 años dedicados a la recuperación del bien, implementando praticamente a totalidade das medidas corretivas estabelecidas em estado de conservação desejado. Quisiera destacar o financiamento para uma nova linha de inversión pública direta destinada especificamente a sítios do patrimônio mundial e a criação do Serviço Nacional do Patrimônio Cultural e na Subsecretaria do Patrimônio Cultural do Ministério das Culturas, das Artes e o Patrimônio. Esses dois pontos reflejam a atenção atribuída pelo Estado chileno ao patrimônio cultural e ao país e a esta convenção em particular. Graças.
Muito obrigada, Brasil. Je voudrais maintenant passer la parole au délégué de la Tunisie, mon cher ami.
Merci Madame la Présidente. La Tunisie voudrait se joindre à tous ceux qui, avant nous, ont pris la parole pour féliciter l'État partie d'un effort sans relâche qui a duré plus de 14 ans, je crois, dans un contexte pas toujours facile, mais qui montre que la voie de la coopération et notamment du travail main en main avec les instances consultatives aboutit et nous nous félicitons de ce résultat. Et ce soir, ce site rejoint les 5 autres sites chiliens sur la liste du patrimoine mondial. On doit féliciter cet État et nous en féliciter nous-mêmes. Merci beaucoup.
C'est vrai. Thank you very much. I would pass the floor now to the delegation of Norway, please.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Desde que las salitreras de Humberstone y Santa Lara fueron inscritas en la lista del Patrimonio Mundial en Peligro en 2005, Chile ha realizado un trabajo impresionante en el establecimiento de un sistema de mantenimiento de estructuras industriales gigantescas y descuidadas en un ambiente muy árido. Aunque todas las medidas han sido importantes para mantener y proteger el valor universal excepcional, la conservación y gestión han sido las más esenciales. El Museo del Salitre es responsable de que haya una colaboración a nivel nacional, regional y local. Representantes de la Administración, políticos y la comunidad local han desarrollado juntos sistemas y planes de gestión que incluso son posibles de poner en práctica. Los problemas de gestión de los bienes del patrimonio mundial son graves y aplastantes. Al mismo tiempo que hay que discutirlos, por supuesto, nos impiden de ver los éxitos y los buenos ejemplos de los cuales podemos aprender. Les invito entonces a tomar un momento y aprender del ejemplo que tenemos aquí enfrente. Uno, que estando en la lista en peligro pueda dar una oportunidad de asegurar una gestión de alta calidad. Dos, que no hay soluciones rápidas ni fáciles, sino mucho trabajo duro que solo permite avanzar paso a paso. Tres, que esta forma de trabajar, que toma en cuenta todos los aspectos del valor universal excepcional, es un requisito previo para crear desarrollos y gestiones durables. Este es el aprendizaje más importante que nos gustaría llevarnos a Noruega y esperemos que el ejemplo haya sido inspirante para otros países también. Para terminar, Noruega apoya la decisión propuesta Felicitaciones a vosotros los chilenos y muchas gracias a usted, señora presidenta.
Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, me gustaría felicitarla por el español. And we are so happy when a country is removed from the list in danger that I think we all feel like speaking in the language of that country. So, congratulations, felicitaciones. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Tanzania. Thank you.
Madam Chair, the delegation of the United Republic of Tanzania commends the State Party of Chile for its commitment to conserve the Humberstone and the Santa Laura saltpeter works. We thank the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies for the support to the State Party to come up to these positive results. Indeed, danger listing can be useful to a property where the listing has been understood properly by the State Party, and this is where effective dialogue is necessary. Madam Chair, the delegation of Tanzania welcomes the effort of the State Party for successfully implementing a desired set of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger. Madam Chair, the delegation of the United Republic of Tanzania again congratulates the Republic of Chile and fully supports the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now pass the floor to the delegation of Guatemala. Caro amigo, con la palabra. Gracias, amigas.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Queremos felicitar a nuestros colegas y hermanos de Chile por el trabajo y los esfuerzos realizados durante 14 años para la conservación de este sitio. Es un ejemplo de trabajo y buenas prácticas. Guatemala apoya la decisión de retirarlo de la lista en peligro. Felicidades, Chile.
Muchísimas gracias. I would now pass the floor to the distinguished delegate of Azerbaijan. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation also would like to congratulate the State Party for this success and removal of the site from the danger list. It has been already 14 years it is there, and we commend the State Parties for its efforts and the activities aimed to conserve this of the site. So my delegation fully supports the decision and again reiterates its congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The distinguished delegate of Hungary has the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The distance between Chile and Hungary is huge, but Hungary would like to join to the state parties congratulating Chile for this huge, big success. The consequent work to improve the state of conservation of Humberstone and Santa Laura saltpeter works proves again, similarly and together with Palestine, that there is a way out of the endangered status of World Heritage sites. It is a good example to all state parties in the same position how to concentrate efforts to improve the case to find a way out of this position and to be proud again to their World Heritage sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would pass the floor now to the delegation of China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chinese delegation would like to support the decision of removing the item out of the item of decision, dangers, and congratulations to Chile. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No more committee member has requested the floor. Yes, please. My distinguished delegate of Bosnia, you have the floor. Thank you.
Pour être très bref, nous partageons cet enthousiasme et nous soutenons les efforts faits pour que ça soit fait de cette manière. Nous partageons l'enthousiasme du comité visiblement et nous sommes contents d'avoir un exemple réussi de la sauvegarde du patrimoine. Merci.
Thank you so much for your comments. I see no more members of the committee requesting the floor, right? I would then pass the floor to the distinguished delegate of Mexico. Con la palabra, querido colega.
Gracias, estimada presidenta. Al ser la primera vez que México toma la palabra, queremos felicitar al Gobierno de la República de Azerbaiyán por su generosidad y hospitalidad para organizar esta sesión del Comité del Patrimonio Mundial. Nos sumamos, obviamente, al reconocimiento al Gobierno de Chile, que ha llevado a cabo una dilatada labor para lograr consolidar y garantizar el estado de conservación de las oficinas salitreras de Santiago, Humberstone y Santa Laura, así como a los entrañables miembros de la Corporación Museo del Salitre. México ha acompañado desde la inscripción de este bien el año 2005 en las listas de Patrimonio Mundial y de Patrimonio Mundial en Peligro al Consejo de Monumentos Nacionales y actualmente a la Subsecretaría del Patrimonio Cultural del Ministerio de las Culturas, las Artes y el Patrimonio del Gobierno de Chile. El objetivo primordial de la Convención del Patrimonio Mundial es la conservación a largo plazo de los bienes inscritos en las dos listas. En este caso, el Estado parte fue cumpliendo cabalmente las recomendaciones y peticiones de información hechas por el Comité desde 2006, además de haber recibido apoyo económico del Fondo del Patrimonio Mundial. Miembros del Comité, la decisión que tomaron el Gobierno y la sociedad chilena durante la inscripción hace 14 años de las oficinas salitreras en las listas no habría valido la pena sin el compromiso de todos, Gobierno y comunidad, para rescatarlas y conservarlas. El proyecto integral de trabajo para su preservación que implementó Chile y del cual ha convidado a México, entre otros países, para acompañarlo, encontró siempre en los postulados el espíritu de la Convención, su razón de ser cuando las técnicas creadas por un Estado parte son empleadas por otro y cuando las herramientas concebidas en una región para la conservación son implementadas en otras. Felicidades por este invaluable logro para Chile, país unido a México desde hace muchos años, por profundas raíces de solidaridad humana y de complicidades culturales y patrimoniales. Y también nos permitimos felicitar, obviamente, al director general para la cultura de la UNESCO. Felicidades.
Muchísimas gracias por su intervención. I believe that after so many expressions of joy and support, we can move to the adoption of Decision 43-7A49 concerning this property. I understand from our rapporteur that there are no amendments. Do you confirm it to us?
That's correct. No amendments for this one.
Thank you. So I believe we can now, right now, approve this draft decision. No expressions in contrary, so it is approved. And with our wholehearted congratulations to the state party, el país hermano de Chile, I would like to know if Chile would like to take the floor. Yeah, it's straight here. Yes, please, with our congratulations, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Quiero saludar también al señor Ernesto Otone, subdirector general de Cultura UNESCO, y agradecer la hospitalidad y la organización al Gobierno de la República de Azerbaiyán. En nombre del Gobierno de Chile y en representación de su presidente de la República, Sebastián Piñera, quiero agradecer al Comité de Patrimonio Mundial por reconocer el trabajo para la conservación y puesta en valor de las oficinas salitreras de Humberstone y Santa Laura. La salida del bien de la lista en peligro es un hito que da cuenta de los esfuerzos mancomunados para recuperar un sitio excepcional ubicado en uno de los desiertos más áridos del mundo. Hace 15 años estaba a paso de ser desmantelado, amenazando con desdibujar la huella de un capítulo fundamental de la historia de la humanidad junto a las tradiciones surgidas a su alero. Estos enclaves constituyen un testimonio de lo que fue la industria del salitre en Chile desde mediados del siglo XIX hasta fines de la década de los 60 del pasado siglo, así como un ejemplo de la capacidad humana de transformar un medio hostil en un lugar habitable. El yacimiento atrajo a inmigrantes de Sudamérica y Europa, forjando una cultura única, la cultura pampina, cuyas agrupaciones de trabajadores fueron precursoras de reivindicaciones laborales que hicieron eco en Chile y la región. En 1970 se genera el primer paso para su protección, al declararse monumento histórico bajo la ley chilena. Desde allí los propios pampinos impulsan su rescate y junto al Estado se logra, en 2005, que el Comité de Patrimonio Mundial inscriba el sitio en la lista en peligro como una estrategia para enfrentar su vulnerabilidad. Desde entonces, y cumpliendo el compromiso asumido, el Estado contribuyó sistemáticamente a la conservación del bien. En 2013, en la 37 COM del Comité de Patrimonio Mundial realizada en Camboya, nuestro país se comprometió a un plan de manejo a 5 años, cumplido con éxito en cada una de sus etapas. Con el foco puesto en la gestión integral, se llevó adelante el plan de obras prioritarias, se realizaron diversos encuentros técnicos dedicados a la conservación del bien y se transformó el lugar en un atractivo de primer nivel, captando el interés de visitantes e investigadores de todo el mundo. Hoy, las ex salitreras cuentan con un plan de manejo y gestión actualizado, medidas de seguridad. Sus edificaciones originales han sido estabilizadas y se amplió la zona de protección con una zona de amortiguamiento que permite conservar todo el paisaje cultural asociado al bien. Asimismo, se recuperaron espacios originales para difundir el proceso y la cultura del salitre. Estos avances son un aliciente para seguir trabajando los desafíos de conservación, investigación y gestión, tanto del sitio Patrimonio Mundial como de los otros asentamientos salitreros incluidos en la zona de protección. El rescate de las salitreras, con apego estricto a su valor universal excepcional, ha permitido relevar el proceso industrial y las formas de vida de la era del salitre, otorgando dinamismo a la zona y contribuyendo a la conservación de un patrimonio cultural invaluable para los pampinos, Chile y el mundo. Estos avances demuestran que la lista en peligro constituye un instrumento efectivo para concentrar esfuerzos de los estados y de las comunidades locales en pos de la conservación efectiva de los bienes inscritos. En este momento importante para el patrimonio cultural de Chile, junto con reiterar nuestro agradecimiento a los miembros del comité, quisiéramos dar las gracias al Centro de Patrimonio Mundial, a los órganos asesores, al Gobierno Regional de Tarapacá, a la Corporación Museo del Salitre y muy especialmente a los pampinos y sus descendientes, que son la memoria viva a través de la cual la relevancia de este capítulo de la historia llega hasta nosotros y se proyecta al futuro. Muchas gracias. Gracias a todos.
Thank you very much. I would like also to join to the congratulations to the state parties from Chile and Palestine for this great achievement and very good example for all others to go forward in protecting the heritage as requirement of the international laws. Thank you very much for this beautiful achievement. Now I would like to invite Mr. Moreno to read the list of the properties for which reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. The following 4 properties from the Latin America and the Caribbean region and the relevant decisions are proposed for adoption without discussion. City of Potosí, plurinational state of Bolivia, fortifications on the Caribbean side of Panama, Portobelo, San Lorenzo in Panama, Chan Chan Archaeological Zone in Peru, and Coro and Sport from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. That's all for the Latin American region, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any objections from the members of the committee to this list? I don't see any. So I declare the decision read out adopted. Thank you very much.
I would like to ask whether any observer delegation would like to express themselves about one of the properties for which we have adopted a decision without discussion. Are there any proposals? Wish? I don't see any. Thank you. Now I invite Mr. Stein, Chief of the Africa Unit of the World Heritage Center, to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger located in the Africa region, for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. Please, you are welcome.
Thank you, Chair. I will now read the list of the sites that are proposed for adoption without discussion. The old towns of Djenné, Mali, Timbuktu, also Mali, Tomb of the Askia, Mali, and tombs of Buganda kings at Kasubi, Uganda. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members of committee, I don't see any objection, any other opinion, so I declare the decision approved. Thank you. Any interventions from the representative of this country? Thank you very much. So we consider this item fulfilled in whole today. Now I would like to return to the decision done yesterday about the item 5D, where we had some matters to be discussed. Were there any time to review the information submitted by Angola and Republic of Tanzania on this matter? I think it was delivered and everyone had time to see it. Angola, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. En fait, comme il nous a été recommandé hier, nous avons partagé les documents. Donc, tous les membres ont reçu les documents. Et il y a eu quelques consultations avec certains membres du comité pour faciliter notre travail. Donc, ce que nous voulons dire est que le document qui a été rendu disponible est un document approuvé par l'Union africaine. Ce document n'est pas objet d'examen. C'est-à-dire, c'est un document qui est officiel, donc il n'a pas été rendu disponible pour que ça soit discuté. Donc, ce que nous demandons au comité, c'est de prendre note que ce document existe. C'est un document qui peut toujours être utilisé parce qu'il est public pour faire avancer nos discussions par rapport à cet important sujet sur la conservation du patrimoine et le développement durable. Donc, c'est ça l'essentiel de la demande que l'Afrique est en train de faire par rapport à ces documents. Donc, au vu de cela, nous avons fait quelques consultations, comme je disais, et nous avons envoyé, en fonction des résultats de ces consultations, les nouveaux amendements qui ont été faits sur le projet de décision, notamment sur le point 7. Et également, il y a un nouveau paragraphe qu'on a rajouté, qui est le point 15. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Do we have some amendments and new version to this side?
Mr. Chair, we haven't received those additional amendments at all.
In this case, I would like to propose the following. As far as I'm informed, there are still some items to be discussed between the delegations, and I hope that you will come to agreement during to the final decision on this item during the evening and tomorrow morning. Maybe we will return to this matter tomorrow before the end of the morning session to give opportunity for that. Burkina Faso wanted some.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. C'est justement pour souligner les consultations constructives que le groupe a eues avec les autres membres du comité. Et comme l'a indiqué l'Angola, ces amendements ont été largement acceptés. Et c'est vrai, comme vous l'avez relevé, ça n'a pas été communiqué pour l'instant certainement par erreur, mais est-ce que ce ne serait pas mieux de projeter la décision et de les apporter, puisque c'est juste des paragraphes qui sont biffés. Il n'y a pas d'ajout en dehors du paragraphe 15. Est-ce que ce ne serait pas mieux de finir avec le point en apportant juste ces légers amendements comme cela a été indiqué? Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Hungary, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Actually, we wanted to support your proposal in the sense that we understand now that there have been consultations going on. We unfortunately have not taken part in these consultations, but we would like to, because actually we do believe there's a slight contradiction with an already adopted paragraph and what was proposed. So we would very much like to have the chance to also join these informal discussions to be sure that we have a text that everybody can agree at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Tunisia, please.
Monsieur le Président, la Tunisie soutient votre proposition de report jusqu'à demain pour donner plus de chances au texte d'être abouti de manière la plus consensuelle.
Thank you very much. I think that the supported proposal is reasonable. We will give opportunity to everyone to discuss and to look through the documents once more and to make necessary consultations. So the proposal is as following. If you don't mind it, we will approve that tomorrow, before we will end our morning session, somewhere at 12:30, we will pass to the discussion of this item, and accordingly the paragraph 8 on the file of Turkana Lake proposed by China. So we will have 2 questions to be discussed before the end of the morning session tomorrow. And we will start with our agenda according to the proposed and approved timetable in the morning. So if we don't have any amendments and any comments, we agree on that. Now, before finishing our session 10 minutes earlier than scheduled, I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Rossler, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. There are some announcements to be made. These are also on the screens, which is there's first of all from 6 to 8 the introduction to UNESCO World Heritage Journeys, the platform for sustainable tourism, which is in room B2. Then there is conservation and regeneration of World Heritage Cities, which is the Aga Khan Trust in room A6. Then from 6 to 8, Climate Vulnerability Index by ICOMOS in room B3, in addition to the exhibitions. And then there is, il y a une réunion d'experts arabes from de 6h à 7h dans la salle B7. And of course, the chairperson cordially invites you to the bureau meeting tomorrow at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the host country, I would like to propose to you to participate at the opening of the exhibition in our State Carpet Museum. There you will see some artifacts brought from the Louvre Museum connected with the history and craft in Azerbaijan. So you're mostly welcome at 7:30 to the State Carpet Museum, which is just at the seaside. Thank you very much, and see you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We will start at 10 o'clock sharp. Bureau members, please be 9:30 in the room we usually have the meeting. Thank you.